See, in the last class we have studied the cells connected in series and we have calculated the effective EMF and effective internal resistance of two cells connected in series. See, in this class we will study the cells connected in parallel. See, cells in parallel. See, cells in parallel. See, the two cells are said to be connected in parallel when they are connected between two given points. See, the cells are said to be connected in parallel only when they are connected between two given points. See, when the cells are connected in parallel, the terminal potential difference across each cell is same, whereas current due to each cell is different. See, let us consider two cells connected in parallel. See here, see this is cell of EMF E1 and internal resistance R1. This is cell of EMF E2 and internal resistance R2 are connected in parallel. See, this is cell of EMF E1 and internal resistance R1. This is a cell of EMF E2 and internal resistance R2. Okay. See, let the I1 be the current due to E1 and I2 be the current due to E2. This is the main current I. See, now consider a cell. See, this is the effective EMF of two cells. See, this is the effective EMF. It is called E total and the effective internal resistance R total. See, this is the current I flows through the effective EMF. Okay. Now, what is the total current in the circuit? See, when two cells are connected in parallel, see the total current is I is equal to I1 plus I2. Call this equation number 1. See, what is I1? See, what is I1? See, we know that the relation E is equal to V plus I into R. See, let this equation can be written as, see, E1 is equal to V plus I1 into R1 or I1 R1 is equal to E1 minus V or I1 is equal to E1 minus V divided by R1. Call this equation number 1. Similarly, see, I2 is equal to E2 minus V divided by R2. Equation number 2. See, so see equation 1 implies, see now add these two, I1 is equal to E1 minus V divided by R1 plus E2 minus V divided by R2. See, I is equal to E1 by R1 minus V by R1 plus E2 divided by R2 minus V by R2. Again, by rearranging the terms, this can be written as I is equal to, see, E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 minus V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Again, this equation can be written as, see, E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 into R2 minus V into R1 plus R2 divided by R1 into R2. See, take this V, the term to the left side, I to the right side. See, now this equation becomes, see, V into R1 plus R2 divided by R1 into R2 is equal to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 into R2 minus I. Okay. See this equation, V into R1 plus R2 by R1 into R2 equal to E1 E2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 into R2 minus I. See, cross multiply this one, V is equal to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 into R2 minus R1. See, cross multiply this one. See here, this equation becomes, see here, R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2 minus I into R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2. V is equal to, see, V is equal to R1 R2 get cancels, E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2 minus I into, see this is R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. See this is the terminal potential difference V. Call this equation number 2. Okay. See now what is the total terminal potential difference across the E total or the effective EMF? See the terminal potential difference across the effective EMF is V equal to E total minus I into R total. Call this equation number 3. See now comparing equations 2 and 3, see E total is equal to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2, and R total is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. See this is the expression for the total EMF or the effective EMF of two cells connected in parallel. This is the total internal resistance or effective internal resistance of two cells connected in parallel. Okay. See so far we have studied the current electricity. In the study of current electricity, we have studied the Ohm's law and its applications, cells in series, cells in parallel. See now using Ohm's law we can solve only the circuits, very simple circuits involving the resistors. But when a circuit involving or the connected with the cells resistors in a complicated manner, these circuits cannot be solved using the Ohm's law. So therefore we will going to study the Kirchhoff laws of electric network. See the Kirchhoff laws of electric network can be used to solve the complicated circuits involving the resistors and the cells. See let us consider the Kirchhoff laws of electric network. See let us study the Kirchhoff laws of electric network. See Kirchhoff's laws of electric network. See using Ohm's law we can solve only the simple circuits involving the resistors, whereas the complicated circuits involving the resistors and the cells can be solved using the Kirchhoff laws of electric network. See what is an electric network? See electric network is nothing but an electric circuit in which the electrical components like resistors, cells connected in a complicated manner. This is called an electric network. See what is an electric network? See electric network is nothing but a electric circuit which consists the resistors, cells connected in a complicated manner. This is called an electric network. See the next term, the junction. What is a junction? See junction in an electric network. See junction is nothing but it is a point in an electric network at which the two or more conductors meet at that point. See suppose this is a point in an electric network at which the two or more conductors meet at this point. See this is called a junction. Okay. See next term, the loop of an electric network. Loop of an electric network. See loop is a closed path for the flow of current in an electric network. This closed path is called loop of an electric network. Okay. See first law of Kirchhoff. See what says Kirchhoff current law. It is known as the Kirchhoff current law. See Kirchhoff's current law. See according to Kirchhoff current law, see Kirchhoff current law, the sum of currents entering a node or a junction is equal to the sum of currents leaving the junction. See what it says. See according to Kirchhoff current law, the sum of currents entering a junction equal to the sum of currents leaving the junction. Okay. See, or it can be stated as the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is equal to 0. See, which says that the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction. See, sigma I is equal to 0. See, suppose, see, these are the currents flowing through the circuit. See, this is current I1, this is current I1, this is current I2, this is current I3. Okay. Meet at the junction O or entering at the junction O. This is current I4, this is current I5 leaving the junction O. See, the sum of currents entering the junction. See, I1, I2 and I3 are entering the junction. See, the sum of currents entering the junction is equal to, see, the sum of currents leaving the junction. See, I4 and I5 leaving the junction. Okay. So, therefore, the sum of currents entering the junction is equal to the sum of currents leaving the junction. See, the Kirchhoff current law says about the law of conservation of charge. Charge is a conserved quantity. Okay. It is based on the law of conservation of the charge. Okay. Or sigma I is equal to 0. See, there is a sign convention used in the study of Kirchhoff current law, according to which the currents entering a node are taken to be positive. See, suppose here I1, I2 and I3 are positive, and one more, the currents leaving the junction are taken to be negative. See, I4 minus I5 is equal to 0. This is Kirchhoff current law. See, next one, the Kirchhoff voltage law. See, what says Kirchhoff voltage law? See, Kirchhoff's voltage law. See, according to Kirchhoff voltage law, KVL. See, according to Kirchhoff voltage law, the sum of the EMFs in the loop of an electric network is equal to the sum of product of the current and the resistance in different parts of that network. See here, see, according to Kirchhoff voltage law, see, in a loop of an electric network, the sum of EMFs is equal to the sum of product of current and resistance in different parts of that loop. See, this is the second law. See, according to Kirchhoff's second law, see, in a loop of an electric network, the sum of EMFs is equal to the sum of the product of current and resistance in different parts of that loop. See, it says that sigma E is equal to sigma I into R. Okay, sigma E. So, total EMF in the loop of an electric network is equal to the total or the sum of the current, the product of the current and the resistance in different parts of that loop. This is called the Kirchhoff second law. See, this Kirchhoff second law based on the law of conservation of energy. Okay. See, let us consider an electric network to explain the Kirchhoff's voltage law. See, let us consider an electric network. See here. See, let us take an electric network. See, suppose this is an electric network. As I said, electric network consists of the resistors and the cells are connected in a complicated manner. See, suppose these are the cells and resistors. See, I will draw the resistors and the cells. See, suppose this is a resistor, suppose this is a cell, this is a cell. See, this is a register. See, suppose this is a register, this is a cell. Okay. Consider this is point A, this is B, this is C. Okay. Let this register be R1, this is register R2, and this is register R3. This is a cell of EMF E1, this is a cell of EMF E2, this is EMF E3. See, let the current through E1 is I1, this is current through E2 is I2, and this is current through E3 is I3. Okay. You can arbitrarily assign the direction of current. Okay. See, this is a loop. A, B, C, A is a loop of an electric network, or you can traverse like this A, C, B, A. See, you can traverse in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay. See, there are few sign conventions adapted in the study of Kirchhoff voltage law. See, which are those? See, when we are traversing in the clockwise direction, see, we can take the IR products are positive if the current flows in the direction of traverse. This is the first sign convention. See, if the current flows in the direction of traverse, then the IR products are taken to be positive. See, otherwise the IR products are taken to be negative. Okay. And the next one is, see, in the direction of traverse, if we meet the positive terminal of the cell first, then the EMF of those cells are taken to be positive. See, if we meet the negative terminal first in the direction of traverse, then those EMFs are taken to be negative. See, these are the sign conventions used in the study of the Kirchhoff voltage law. Let us apply the Kirchhoff voltage law to this loop of the electric network ABCA. See, apply Kirchhoff voltage law to the loop ABCA. See, we are traversing or we are traveling in the clockwise direction. See, we are traveling in the clockwise direction. Okay. See, move from point A to point B. See, here the IR products are positive. See, I1 into R1 is positive. Okay. See, I1 into R1, current is flows from A to B, and we are traveling from A to B. So, therefore, the IR products are positive. See, from B to C. See, again the current is positive. See, plus I2 R2. Current direction is from B to C. We are traveling from B to C. So, therefore, the IR products are positive. And from C to A, see the direction of current here, current opposite to the direction of travel. So, therefore, the IR products are negative. See, I3 R3 is negative, equal to see the sum of EMFs in the loop. See, E1, see, while we are traveling from A to B, we meet the first the positive terminal of EMF E1. So, therefore, E1 is positive. See, here from B to C we meet the negative terminal. So, therefore, EMF E2 is negative. See, here from C to A again we meet the negative terminal of E3. So, therefore, E3 is minus. Okay. So, according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, see, the sum of IR products is equal to the sum of EMFs in an electric network. See, this can be written as sigma IR is equal to sigma EMF. See, this is called the Kirchhoff voltage law. See, the application of Kirchhoff's laws of electric network. See, this is applied in a bridge known as the Wheatstone bridge, or it is also known as the Wheatstone's network. See, let us consider the Wheatstone's network. See, Wheatstone's network was developed by Charles Wheatstone to find the resistance of a resistor. See, Wheatstone's network. Wheatstone's network. See, Wheatstone's network consists the 4 resistors. They are connected so as to form a quadrilateral. See here. See, this is a Wheatstone's network. As I said, the Wheatstone's network consists the four resistors. They are connected so as to form a quadrilateral. See. See, this is a resistor of resistance P, this is Q, this is R and this is S. Okay, consider this is terminal A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Okay, see now in between the points B and D, a galvanometer of resistance G is connected. See, this is a galvanometer of resistance G is connected. Okay. And between A and C, a cell of EMF E is connected through a plug key. See, this is a plug key, this is a cell of EMF E. See, let us consider this is the current I, the main current I. Now, assign the currents in different parts of the network. Say, suppose this is the current I1 flowing through the resistor P. Okay, this is current. See, this is current I minus I1 through the resistor R. Okay, this is here. See, suppose this is current IG flowing through the galvanometer. This is current I1 minus IG. Okay, see here. This is IG plus I minus I1. Again, this is I. See, this is called the Wheatstone's network. So, Wheatstone's network is a device which was devised by the Professor Charles Wheatstone, which is used to find the resistance of a resistor. See how to find the resistance of a resistor. See, now we can apply the Kirchhoff laws of electric network to this electric network. See, there are two loops here. See, this is one loop A, B, D, A, one loop, and one more loop B, C, D, B, another loop. See, we can apply Kirchhoff voltage law to these two loops. See, let us first apply Kirchhoff. See, apply Kirchhoff voltage law to the loop A, B, D, A. See, traverse in the clockwise direction. So, traverse in the clockwise direction. See, when we are traverse from A to B, see here, from A to B, the current flows from A to B. So, therefore, the IR products I1 into P is positive. Move from B to D. So, now the IR products IG into G plus IG, current through the galvanometer, capital G, resistance of the galvanometer. Okay. Next, move from D to A, minus I minus I1 into R equal to 0. So, here it is equal to 0, means that no EMF in this loop A, B, D, A contains no EMF or no cells. So, therefore, the total EMF is 0. See, now apply KVL to the loop B, C, D, B. Apply KVL to the loop B, C, D, B. Okay. Apply KVL to the loop B, C, D, B. See, move from B to C, the IR products. See, I1 minus IG into Q minus C. We are traveling from C to D, the current flows from D to C. So, therefore, it is negative minus S into IG plus I minus I1. Move from D to B, again it is minus Ig into G is equal to 0. See, again this is 0 since no EMFs in this loop. Okay. See, now we have two equations, equation 1, this is equation 1, this is equation number 2. Okay. See, now keeping the PQS constant, vary the resistance R, vary the resistance R. Okay. By keeping the PQS constant, when we vary the R, the current in the galvanometer changes. Okay. So, vary the R till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. See, when Ig is equal to 0, see, when Ig is equal to 0, see, the bridge is said to be balanced, or the network is said to be balanced. So, when Ig is equal to 0, see, the equation 1 becomes, see, equation 1 becomes I1 into P minus R into I minus I1 is equal to 0, or I1 into P is equal to R into I minus I1. Call this equation number 3. Okay. Similarly, equation 2 becomes, see, Ig is equal to 0, this is I1 into Q minus S into, see, this is Ig 0, I minus I1, this is Ig 0, see, equal to 0. See, it can be written as I1 into Q is equal to S into I minus I1, equation number 4. See, now divide these two equations, I1 into P, see, equation 3 divided by equation 4 implies, see, equation 3 divided by 4 implies, see, which gives P by Q is equal to R by S. See, this is the condition for the balance of the Wheatstone's network. See here, see, when we divide these two equations, see, the P by Q is equal to R by S. This is called the condition for the balance of Wheatstone network. So, what is the condition? See, P by Q is equal to R by S. This is the condition. See, this is the condition. See, the equation number 5. See, the equation 5 represents the condition for the balance of the Wheatstone's network. Okay. See, when the current through the galvanometer is 0, the network is said to be balanced. Okay. See, if you know the values of P, Q and S, we can easily find the value of R. Or among the 4 resistors, if you know any 3 resistors, then we can easily find the resistance of a unknown resistor easily using the Wheatstone's network. See, using the Wheatstone's network, an experiment can be performed. This device is called the Wheatstone's bridge or the meter bridge. See, let us consider the meter bridge. See, meter bridge is a device which is used to determine the resistance of a given wire. See, let us consider the meter bridge. So, the meter bridge is a modified form of Wheatstone's network. See, meter bridge. So, meter bridge works on the principle of Wheatstone's network. See, let us study the construction and working of a meter bridge. See, a meter bridge consists a wire of length equal to 1 meter stretched between the 2 points A and B of a wooden board. Okay. See, below the wire a meter scale is fixed to measure the balancing length. See, at the 2 end points 2 L-shaped metal strips are connected. See, these are the 2 metal strips are connected at the two ends of the meter bits. See. See, a straight metal strip is placed between the two L-shaped metal strips so that the two gaps are formed. See here. See, this is called the left gap and this is called the right gap. See, at the left gap, a wire whose resistance is to be determined is connected. See, this is a wire of resistance X, okay, unknown resistance. See, at the right gap of the bridge, a standard resistance box of known resistance is connected. Okay. See, below the wire, a cell of EMF E is connected through a plug key. So, this is plug key, this is cell of EMF E. See, at the middle of the meter bed, see, a galvanometer is connected through a pointer. Okay. This is the construction of meter beds, experimental arrangement of meter beds. Okay. When we close the plug key, see, when you close the plug key, a steady current flows through the wire, and now apply some resistance in the standard resistance box. Suppose S equal to 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm, okay, etc. See, when we apply the S equal to 1 ohm and move the pointer over the wire till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. See, suppose this is called the balancing length L, at which the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. Okay. This is 1 minus L, this is 1 minus L, this is L, this is L and this is 1 minus L. See, this is of length equal to 1 meter. So, therefore, it is 1 minus L. Now, apply the Wheatstone network. See, according to Wheatstone network, see, x by L is equal to S by 1 minus L, or x by S is equal to, say, x by S is equal to L divided by 1 minus L. Okay. X by S is equal to L by 1 minus L, or x is equal to S into L divided by 1 minus L. So, we know the value of S, we know the value of L, and we know the value 1 minus L. So, we can easily find the value of x using the meter beds. Okay. This is how we can find the resistance of a given wire using meter beds. So, the meter beds is a device which works on the principle of the Wheatstone's network. Okay. See, one more device, that is known as the potentiometer. See, potentiometer is a device which is used to determine the internal resistance of a cell, and we can compare the EMF of two cells using a potentiometer. See, let us consider the potentiometer. See, potentiometer. See, potentiometer is a device which is used to determine the internal resistance of a cell and which is used to compare the EMF of two cells. See, let us study the principle of potentiometer. See, what is the potentiometer principle? See, suppose this is a wire through which a steady current I flows through the wire. Then the potential drop across the wire, across any section of the wire, is directly proportional to length of that section. See, according to the principle of potentiometer, when a steady current flows through a wire, the potential drop across the wire directly proportional to the length of that portion of the wire. See, this is L, okay, V proportional to L. This is the principle of potentiometer. See, let us consider the construction and working of a potentiometer. See, a potentiometer consists a wire of length equal to 4 meter. Okay. It is about 4 meter stretched on a wooden board between 2 points. See, this is the wire of a potentiometer. Okay. This is point A and this is point B. See, there is a driving circuit or the primary circuit. See, above the wire, this is above the wire, which consists a cell, a plug key and a rheostat. See this terminal B of the potentiometer wire connected to the rheostat and the terminal A connected to the cell and the plug key K. This is rheostat orange. See below the wire a cell of EMF E is connected through a galvanometer. See again the galvanometer is connected to a pointer. See this is a cell of EMF E. Okay. See when we close the plug key, a steady current flows through the wire and move the pointer over the wire from A towards B till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. Okay. See therefore, the EMF of the cell E is directly proportional to the length of that portion. So, we can find the EMF of the cell easily using the potentiometer, or we can measure the potential difference of a cell across a cell using the potentiometer. Potentiometer can be called as an ideal voltmeter. Okay. See the applications of potentiometer. See the first application is we can compare the EMF of two cells using potentiometer. See comparison of EMF. See comparison of EMF. So, we can compare the EMF of two cells using potentiometer. See. See, let us consider a potentiometer. See, this is the wire of the potentiometer. See, this is the driving circuit. Above the wire, this is rheostat. This is rheostat. This is plug key K1. This is EMF E. This is a cell of EMF E1. This is a cell of EMF E2. These in turn connected to a galvanometer through a two-way key. The galvanometer is connected to the pointer. This is cell of EMF E1, this is cell of EMF E2. Let us consider this is point C. See how to compare the EMF of two cells using this potentiometer arrangement. When you close the plug key K1, a steady current flows through the wire. See now connect these two using two-way key. See when the upper circuit is connected, the cell of E1 is connected to the galvanometer. Now move the pointer from point A towards B, then the EMF E1 directly proportional to length L1. Okay. And now once again, now close these two, E2 and G are connected. See when E2 and G are connected, again move the pointer P from A towards B till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. So therefore, E2 is proportional to L2. See E1 is proportional to the length L1 and E2 the proportional to the length L2. So therefore, E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. So therefore, we can compare the EMF of two cells using potentiometer. So therefore, the EMF E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. Okay. See in the similar manner, we can find the internal resistance of a cell using potentiometer. See how to determine the internal resistance of a cell using potentiometer. Internal resistance of a cell. See internal resistance of a cell using potentiometer. Okay, say let us consider a potentiometer. Say suppose this is the wire AB of the potentiometer. This is the driving circuit or the primary circuit. Above the wire this is rheostat connected to the terminal B. This is plug key K1. See below the circuit, see this is a cell of EMF E and internal resistance R. This is a external resistor connected parallel to the cell of EMF E and internal resistance R. This is the external resistors R. This external resistor R is connected through a plug key. See this is the resistor and this is the plug key K2. Okay. See these two, the parallel circuit is connected to the galvanometer through a pointer. See this is a pointer. Okay. This is the external resistor or this is the terminal C. See now when you close the key K1, now close the key K1 keeping K2 open. See when key K1 is closed, see when key K1 is closed, a steady current flows through the wire and this circuit is only completed or connected. Okay. See now move the pointer P from point A towards B over the wire till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. See this EMF is directly proportional to the length L1. This gives the EMF of the cell. So therefore EMF E proportional to the length L1. See call this equation 1. See now close the K2. So now K1 and K2 both are closed. Both are closed. See when these two are closed, see now a steady current flows through the wire AB. Now again move the pointer P from point A towards B till the galvanometer shows 0 deflection. See now this gives the terminal potential difference across the cell. Okay. So V is proportional to L2. See when K1 and K2 both are closed, V is proportional to L2. So see call this equation number 2. See equation 1 divided by 2 implies see E by V is equal to L1 by L2. Call this equation number 3. Okay. E by V is equal to what? L1 by L2. See we know that E is equal to V plus I into R. See where E EMF of the cell, V terminal potential difference and I current through the cell and R internal resistance of the cell. See now divide throughout by V. See this becomes E by V is equal to 1 plus I into R divided by V. See E by V is equal to what? See equation 3. See this is L1 by L3. See L1 by L2. See take this 1 to the left side. This becomes minus 1. Minus 1 is equal to I into R. See V equal to what? I into capital R. See I cancels. See small r is equal to capital R into L1 divided by L2 minus 1. See this is the internal resistance of the cell. So we can find the internal resistance of a cell using the potentiometer. So these are the applications of the potentiometer. So with this I end up the current electricity. Okay, thank you one and all.